Primitive, animalistic, ferocious. These are a few words used to describe barbarians, driven in battle by an endless bloodlust, the thirst for battle, a rage that never dies. Playing a barbarian is no easy task. You must be ready to strike, and be ready to not stop striking until the thing that hurts you is dead. Whether it's getting their power from an animal spirit, or having an endless pool of battle rage from endless amounts of pain, barbarians are a ferocious kind. So here is our finished character. I've gone for Andar Stormwind, an Eluskan human. Now I picked the Eluskan human variant because they seemed most fitting for a barbarian character. Now Eluskan humans are very slim, very tall, quite muscular characters with light hair colours and light eye colours, and very obvious tones of a Conan the Barbarian stereotypical character look, and so I thought it's very suitable for a barbarian character. Now following along the player's handbook, I followed the steps that they recommend for a quick build very closely. So I put my highest numbers into strength and constitution, and then I also picked the outlander background. So on to my attributes. I did the d6 method, as I said, and because of that I got the numbers 16, 13, 12, 12, 10 and 8. Set that in a bit of a random order. So it recommends that you put your highest numbers into both strength and constitution. So I put 16 into strength and 13 into constitution. So the reason I put 16 into strength is because as a barbarian you're normally doing a lot of damage and you're normally up front. Now because of this, if we look at his attacks and spellcasting box, his great axe, he gets an attack bonus of +5. Now he gets this because he gets +3 from his strength and his proficiency bonus. So that gives him +5 for an attack bonus, and his damage also does 1d12 +3 because of the 3 from his strength modifier. So that's a great amount of damage to be doing as a level 1 character from one attack. I put 13 into constitution just to give him a bit of extra health. I know he doesn't have that much. I hopefully next time I make a character like this get a higher roll. That's what I love about doing the d6 method, is very much random. And I know people say don't make your character based on your attribute skills because they don't make your character, you make your character. But in certain cases I like to roleplay depending on my stats. So if I get a very low numbers for charisma and intelligence, I like to go with it, you know. He's not going to be a very smart guy, and he's not going to be very easy to talk to people. He's going to be a very kind of in the corner character. But those are the numbers I got. So I then put 12 into both wisdom and dexterity just because it's like wanted to make him at least be able to move and do acrobatic stuff and stealthy stuff. And then I put it into wisdom because as the class gives you proficiencies, you can choose 2 from their selected list. I put perception and survival just because survival is all about foraging and surviving in the wilderness, and as a barbarian you're very much a clansman, you're doing stuff in the wild. And perception just because you're spotting things in the wild. If you're doing kind of hunting, you're going to want to spot things anyway. And then I got saving throws proficiency in my strength and constitution, so that just beefs it up anymore. And then from the outlander class it gives you proficiency in the athletics and survival, but unfortunately I already had survival, which means it doesn't stack, it doesn't carry over, so I just got it in athletics, which means I've already got proficiency in all of my skills and saving throws in strength. It's a very good start. So we move on to our proficiencies, other proficiencies, and language box at the bottom left. So he has proficiency in light armor, medium armor and shields, proficiency in simple weapons and martial weapons, and he also is able to speak common. So this is very good, very kind of average starting bit, but with simpler martial weapons with proficiency in everything, very useful, can pick up weapons and use them without having to worry about too much hassle. Now we move on to our features and traits. As this is a level 1 character, they don't start with too much, but rage. Rage is the barbarian stereotype. It is the very much foundation that makes the barbarian class very much the usable class if you like to be a tank. So they get rage. What is rage? Now rage is something you can enter as a bonus action as long as you're not wearing heavy armor. So it gives you a list of things that it helps you with, so I'll read them from as I wrote them down in bullet points, so if I ever use this character it just gives a quick summary. So it gives you advantage on strength checks and saving throws, which is very useful since I already have +5 to my saving throw from the proficiency, so that's a really good start. When you make a strength melee attack, add rage damage. Now on my attacks and spellcasting box in the middle, I put that rage is +2 rage damage. So along the columns in the player's handbook for the barbarian, it increases as you level up. So I would then add +2 to my damage, so I'd add an extra 2 to it, and I get 2 uses of that, prior to take a short or long rest. So you also get resistance to bludgeoning, piercing and slashing damage. Now this is really, really good, because it means you can stay in the fight for longer, up front, at the front of the queue, just waiting in line for your meal, attacking enemies for longer. Now this is incredibly useful, because you can just take damage. You can soak up damage for a little bit. Yeah, it only lasts for a minute, so you can only probably do maybe 1 or 2 rounds of this, but that's still soaking up damage for what could kill some other level 1 players, or at least incapacitate them. With that's it for the list. So this lasts for 1 minute, and you can use this for a number of times equal to the amount that levels up with you. So this amount increases the more times you level up. So by level 5 you can probably use this maybe 3 or 4 times. I'm not sure for exactly the exact number of times, but at level 1 you can use it twice before having to take a short or long rest. So this is very good. Now the other thing you get at level 1 is the unarmored defense. So you don't start with armor as a barbarian, you don't start with anything, you start with weapons and a pack, but you mainly start with more weapons for it, so you don't get the armor, but you do get unarmored defense, which is while you are not wearing armor, your armor class is equal to 10 plus your dexterity modifier plus your constitution modifier. Now this is where I probably could have assigned them better if I'd known beforehand this is what it would include. So I have an armor class of 12 because I have +1 in dexterity and +1 to my constitution. Could be better, could be worse. And then my last feat that I've got, my last feature and traits, my last feature is the Wanderer, which I get from my Outlander background. It's basically, in summary, gives me excellent memory of maps and layouts of geography and the terrain. I also am able to find and forage food quicker and easier in a section and in a region, and it only depends if that region does have like berries and fresh game and fresh water sources to look for. So very good if you're going for like a foraging character. So if you're going for a character that only stays in the wild, amazing character, like absolutely amazing. The last things to talk about is initiative is +1 from his dexterity modifier, speed of 30 from his human. Already talked about armor class. He starts with 13 hit points. I was just using the maximum roll and then adding my constitution modifier. Starts with 1d12 as his hit dice. With his equipment, he starts with an explorer's pack, 4 javelins, a staff, a hunting trap. The Outlander class allows you to pick a trophy of an animal you've killed. I went for a direwolf just because I like the direwolves in D&D and it seems pretty cool that my guy killed on level 1. A set of traveller's clothes and a belt pouch that normally contains 10 gold, but I also added the starting wealth you have with your character, so he has 60 gold to start with, quite good. That would be able to buy a few provisions for the wild and for our further adventuring. So that is it for the character. That is the character made, that's the simplistic design of him. Now to go on to role-playing. How would you role-play a barbarian? So, in aspects of encounters with NPCs, as in talking to them, dialogue, you're going to be very abrupt, very upfront, very blunt basically with your answers if you're going for the typical low charisma. So my guy's not going to be no fancy talking bard, he's going to be upfront. If he wants something he's going to talk to it, and with his flaw violence is my answer, he's probably going to get agitated and going to end up punching or slashing or stabbing, whatever it is, it's irritating him. So he's not going to be good at dialogue, but he's going to be good when it comes to other things. So he may not be able to talk to NPCs, but probably talking to other clansmen and other barbarians or people who live in the wild, he's going to be very good at talking to them. Other feats, such as like lifting things up or climbing, he's going to be amazing at that, but he's not going to be good when it comes to intelligence things, so having to remember information, investigate the environment, having to recall information he's not going to be very good at. He's going to be alright when it comes to wisdom, maybe some insight and medicine, probably don't rely on him for that, but when it comes to perception and survival, he's going to be very good at that. He's going to be able to pinpoint these things, and basically you're going to want to stick with him for the wild. Now, how would you roleplay him in combat? How would you make him a useful member of the party? Well, he's going to be this shield. Imagine him as the wall between your enemies and your allies. You're going to be the one, say you use your rage. So you're in a corridor, you've got goblins charging you in your party, you're in a party with wizards and sorcerers, maybe not people with high armor classes and high hit point maximums. So you're going to be the wall between the two. You're going to activate your rage, you're going to get resistance for their damage, the goblins are going to be hacking and slashing at you, but you're just taking it with your resistance, and then you're just dealing out damage. Most goblins don't have that many hit points to start with, so you're probably going to kill one in just one slash from your great axe. And if you are using the optional rule in the Dungeon Master's Guide that actually allows you to carry over damage if it's the rule used for taking out lower level enemies, if you're kind of trying to speed up the encounters, you could like hack through probably about 2 goblins with a really good roll if you increased your damage by increasing your attributes in strength. So you're going to be the wall, you're going to be taking in damage. Imagine yourself as the wall, the shield, and you're going to be pushing back the enemy forces. So you're going to want to be up front, never let your allies go in front. You're going to be the one who charges in first, deals the damage, and holds them off. So that's basically the basics of playing as a barbarian. So I hope you've all enjoyed this. If you have any questions that I didn't answer, or if you have any suggestions for improvements I can make for this series. This is very much a tester. I'm going down in chronological order in the book for top to bottom, so that will be from Barbarian all the way down to Wizard. And so this is the first episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you have any questions, down in the comments below, tell me, leave a like if you really enjoyed this, and leave a dislike if you didn't. And leave a dislike and tell me why you didn't like it. Don't just leave a dislike and disappear, because that doesn't help me. That just makes me sad. So, thank you all for watching. If you like this, leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more daily content. I'll see all of you in the next video. Farewell, my friends.